Friends, I am now going to bring up our dear friend, Deborah Mason, who is working with the Clackamas Service Center. And I am going to bring up Deborah now. And let's see. Here comes Deborah. Hi, Deborah.
Hi.
It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, Adam. I'm really, really privileged to be here today. Thank you.
Well, it's a privilege for us to have you here and to hear from you the wonderful things that you are doing and that Clackamas Service Center is doing. We've worked together for a number of years, and there are ways that we can help support you and one another better, and wanted to bring you on so that we could hear more from you about what it is that Clackamas Service Center is doing, especially during this time of the pandemic, and how we can support you in stronger ways. So,
Wonderful.
Deborah, is it okay? I'm going to take myself off screen.
That's fine.
While you're talking.
I can go it alone.
Okay. Awesome. Just whenever you're done, I'll come back on and we'll conclude. So thank you so much.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Adam, and thank you everybody for allowing me to spend a few minutes with you. And I really appreciate what you just said about how things do feel really crazy. Things feel really heavy out there, and yet there is a lot of really good work and good things happening. And so I think that's really a valuable lesson to think about today. But in terms of the Clackamas Service Center, we, our neighbors, we're just over by the Fred Meyer on Johnson Creek and 82nd, so not too far from most of you. And we've been serving in that location for 48 years, so forever and ever. But most recently, we'll talk about that, because certainly the pandemic has changed everything for us. We typically serve in community, and that is not something, as you can imagine, we can do. So we have a location there at Johnson Creek and 82nd, and we've got a new one that I'll share with you in just a moment. But at that location where we have been since the early 70s, we have day services, we call them. And these services are largely used by people who are living outside. And just I'll pause there and jump back in a second. I'd like to share who we serve, first of all. And it's really a wide range of folks. We don't have any barriers. We're a no to low barrier organization, which means we don't ask any questions. We believe that if you've come to us for help, that you need it. And that's all there is to it. That's all that matters to us, is that you are here. And we're going to serve you. And so we serve folks that live outside, that have been unhoused for years, decades even sometimes, all the way up to folks that are employed, housed, but they're just having a hard time making ends meet. And that is a lot of us. We live in a pretty expensive place, and things seem to be getting more expensive. So, even the person who's on a fixed income and is living right there at the end of, the month, there's nothing left, and an unexpected bill comes up, or a granddaughter has a birthday and you want to buy a special gift. If we can offset those costs, if we can give folks groceries and free up a little bit of money that month, then that is also who we serve. So really just in everyone in between. So at our main campus, I'll call it, we have, if you come to the Clackamas Service Center for lunch, which is typically, like the first ways people come to us is around food. So we have been in hunger relief this whole time. We're getting a little bit branching out a lot more in the last, I'd say 6 to 10 years, but hunger is usually how people come to us to begin with. So food insecurity. We know that hunger is not an isolated need. If you are hungry, you probably have some other things going on. And so that's really where we want to meet you where you're at and provide more than just that meal. But if you come for a lunch, you will be also able to get your mail. So hundreds of people use us as an address. And that's amazing, because you need an address to apply for a job or get an apartment, or get those Social Security benefits, and also a way to communicate with family and friends. And so you can get your mail, and you can shop for a little bit of groceries. It's not a huge offering, but a couple tables worth where you can fill a bag up with whatever you need. And you can do that daily. And then you can shop for clothes. We've got quite a good selection of winter clothes going right now. And then hygiene. So you can get your toothbrush, a razor, hand sanitizer, things of that nature. And you can also take a shower. So we've got hot showers going during the week as well. And so that's kind of what's happening. We used to do this in community. Like I said, we have a gorgeous dining room that is just now filled with supplies. And so we have people come in 1 or 2 at a time to try to keep our volunteers safe, our members. We call our clients members. So we want to keep them safe, and staff as well. So just a couple at a time. We as an organization are all vaccinated, as are our volunteers, but we're also masked up as well. So we have a few layers of harm reduction in place while we're serving. And we ask our members to be masked up as well when they're inside. We're actually hosting one this Wednesday, so I want to get that information to you all. A vaccination clinic. We've already had 6 on site. We've probably vaccinated over 300 members since they were available earlier this year, but we've got 2 more coming. One Wednesday the 17th, and then another on December 8th. And it is incentivized. If you want more information, please reach out. I know Adam's got my email. Maybe we can provide that to the congregation. You can get a $50 gift card, so bring a friend. You can also get flu shots. They're not incentivized, but if anyone's interested in a flu shot, you can come to the center and do that too, Wednesday from 12 to 4. At any rate, what's new and exciting, and a lot of you may have already heard about this, back in September, so 2 months ago, we opened a second location. And it's our warehouse. We're calling it a food hub. And what we've done is we've moved our food operations, which was in our basement of the existing building, to a warehouse. So we moved our food operations from about 1,000 square foot basement. So you can imagine all the food coming all the way down the basement and then coming back out to an 8,000 square foot warehouse over by the Clackamas post office, if you're familiar with on Old 82nd. And what that does for us is it's immense, really. We had a market where folks could shop, basically a food pantry, but we like to call it a market because you could shop for whatever you wanted and as much as you wanted. There were no limits. But we couldn't do that because of the pandemic, because our basement is so tiny. And so just about over a weekend back in March of 2020, we converted to a home delivery program. So if you need groceries, somebody who's struggling, please reach out. We will do a home delivery to 12 zip codes. So most of North Clackamas is covered. We go into Southeast Portland a bit as well. So that is happening at the warehouse. We're going to be able to probably double the amount of people we serve. The other exciting thing that we're doing that is fairly new in the last couple of years is that we have started supporting other agencies or other organizations. About 15 right now. We're really looking to grow that. And so we support smaller organizations that don't have good access to food, and we do. And so we provide them with food, and so they can turn around and serve their constituencies. We also really strongly feel that people, we don't have to do everything. And there's a lot of really good organizations doing amazing work, and they know their people better than we ever will. And so we want them to serve them in the way they know works for them. We go to a couple of North Clackamas School District elementary schools each week. We go to Lot Whitcomb and Oak Grove, and we bring food to them so they can shop sort of farmers market style each week on campus. We now, as actually Tuesday is the first one, we're going to be at Clackamas Community College, also doing sort of a pop-up farmers market. Food insecurity is just really prevalent amongst most student bodies. And so we have a real heart for that as well. And we go up to Concord Career College in Northeast Portland. It's a nursing school, and we provide food for them as well. So we're always looking for partners to step in and provide the food that we know that their people need, their members need, and help them in that way. And so that's what's going on for us, which is a lot. But we're really excited about this growth and expansion for the organization, because this has been a trying time, and more people have been moved into the space with a little bit of help. And again, it runs the gamut for someone who really needs a lot of help. We have a staff member, Celeste, who can sit down with them to try to figure out if it's housing they need, employment, all those kind of things. So we have she's a member navigator. She can sit down one-on-one with folks and really kind of figure out where they're at and what's the next step for them, so they can progress in a positive way. A lot of exciting things. And something that wanted me to mention to you is, if you're interested in getting involved, there's quite a few ways to do that, in person and in not. Again, we are 100% vaccinated, and we require people who work with us, our volunteers, to also be vaccinated. So, and we wear masks. So that's just something to keep in mind. At the warehouse, we are currently in need of people to restock for us. And so that is just what it sounds like. Our shelves, much like a grocery store, need to be filled back up at the end of our home delivery run. So in the morning, we build boxes and we have drivers come. And if you're interested in delivering groceries, that's also an opportunity. Now, that takes a little bit more strength. So for food delivery, you have to be able to lift 20 to 30 pounds. And so that is a requirement, just to make it comfortable for everybody. But food stocking, you don't, because you're just literally putting cans and maybe butternut squash, things of that nature, back on a shelf. And for those opportunities, restocking is in the afternoons or early evenings, 2 days a week. So even if you want to come down for an hour, maybe 2 hours, and restock, that would be a huge blessing for us. And so keep that in mind. We also need, as you can imagine, winter stuff. So if you want to do a drive or collect amongst your neighbors, we need sleeping bags, we need tents, smaller tents, tarps. So you're thinking about, for folks that are outside, what they're going to need. And then warm stuff like blankets, jackets, socks, things of that nature. And so those are the kind of things that we are in really pretty serious need right now. So if you're interested in helping us get your hands on that, like I said, maybe collecting it amongst your neighbors, or, we've got really good sources. If you want to donate your financial resources, we can do the shopping. There's just a wide variety. So, but those are some of the opportunities that we have right now that we would love to engage you with. And we can always use your prayers as well. That's always necessary. So, yeah, I don't know. Adam, is there anything else that you wanted me to add?
No, that was perfect. That was perfect. But we have some comments and questions in the chat section.
Okay.
I'll just bring those in.
Yeah.
It'll be pretty quick. Jeff says hi. So there you go. Lynn says, greetings, Deborah. Loved the newsletter I received yesterday. Keep up the amazing work. How can people sign up for the newsletter and stay in contact with you? You can just go right to our website, and there is a place. We, if you're on our mailing list, you're probably going to get about 3, maybe 4 things a year. So we send out 2 impact reports, which are really great. And it's just that. It's like, how have we made an impact? And so you'll have a few numbers, like we served X amount of meals. There'll be some data. But then there's just really great stories about the good things that are happening. And then, yes, we will ask for money once or twice a year. So you'll get that letter too if you're on our mailing list. But that's... Now, our email list, we do send out emails. We try to get them out once a month. That doesn't always happen, but email is also a really nice way to hear from us if you don't want to be getting physical mail to your house. So, yeah, the website, or you can email me too, and I'll get you on there. Wonderful. We have some folks throughout the country who watch. How might they be able to find local groups, organizations that are doing similar things that you're doing? Well, the Google knows everything. And so I'm convinced. I would, right. So listening to me talk, there was probably 1 or 2 things that really spoke to you. Most things, like some people like, wow, showers, that's amazing. So think about what resonated with you. And if there was a program or a service that really spoke to you or you really thought was important, I would Google that in your city, because there are probably organizations that are doing just that. And that might be,
a more meaningful way to get involved if it's something that really speaks to you. Yeah.
Georgia and Wentemi give just a whole bunch of hearts and hands
Yay.
clapping. It's awesome.
Thank you. I love
Melanie. Melanie says it's the Clackamas Service Center. So just getting that name out there. Lori's got the website. Emily, let's see. We'll get to Emily in a second. But Suzanne says it's an amazing nonprofit. CUCC has been supporters for many years.
Yes.
Let's see. Georgia says, wonderful. Emily says, wow, volunteer drivers needed? ?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And we try, those shifts are usually about 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, but, between an hour and 2 hours. We are actually acquiring 2 electric cars in the next few weeks through a PGE grant. So there's also ways to do the delivery and you don't have to use your own vehicle. So that is an opportunity as well. But yeah, we're always, and those are typically in the mornings, but we can be flexible. If you're only available at 4 or 5 o'clock on a particular day, you can do the delivery then. Because we know a lot of people are going back to work and they can't take a delivery at 10 in the morning, because they're not home. So we are flexible. But yeah, we always need drivers. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've got some questions about donating clothing. And you mentioned that you need clothing and tents and tarps and other things as well. Yes. I meant to mention this in the announcements, but we, for the last few years, we have been doing for Thanksgiving and for Christmas and for Easter, turkey and ham giveaway at the church. And we are including this year a coat drive. We'll probably, I'll extend that to a coat and tent and tarp and clothing drive. So we'll get that message out this week through our email.
Wonderful.
And we'll post it up on our site.
And for the clothing, just to give a little bit of a guideline, we are really only accepting, or we can really only use clothes that you'd wear camping. That's kind of how we describe it. Okay. So we don't need business suits or fancier clothes. We just need real casual, comfortable clothes that you would wear camping. That's the kind of stuff that we need right now. Yeah.
Excellent. Emily asks if kids can come as well to help the stocking.
Yes. Yes.
Good stuff. Yes. I think that those are all of the comments and questions.
Okay.
So Deborah, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. It's been wonderful. Thank you.